Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I've got just got a couple. So what do you think of IPOs in general? When a company goes public, how do you feel about buying a share in that particular company? Would you hold off, or would you go in straight away if you knew that particular company quite well?
Okay, that's a really good question. I would say if it was a pub, so obviously it would have been a private company beforehand. So all company, for anyone that doesn't know, an IPO is an initial public offering. So all companies start off private, and then once they want to raise more capital by issuing shares, they have an initial public offering where they issue shares to the public to allow them to kind of raise more capital. That's all the companies you can invest in are like public companies. So if I knew the company beforehand and did a lot of research, I would want to know why they have switched from being a private company to a public company and how it was actually going to further their goal and how they were planning to use the extra capital. Because I feel like, especially last year, there's so many companies that are going public now just because, like, I feel like there's a lot of dumb money in the market. People are jumping onto anything. So I feel like companies are getting the chance to reach a lot higher valuations than they normally would do, which to me is a red flag. It's like, if you can manage your company and if you make enough money, like, why do you need to raise money this way?
I get you.
So personally, it is a bit of a red flag to me. But if I knew the company well enough and they had a good enough reasoning and they had a detailed plan on how they were going to spend investors' money, then I think I would jump in. But there's been no recent IPOs that I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to jump into this. Like, in fact, there's been a lot more like, oh, I'm going to stay away from this.
Yeah. So how would you feel about Airbnb, obviously, going public?
That is actually one of the ones I was just thinking about, because
that's the one I'm sort of looking at as well.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to come out, see how it works within the first month of it being public.
Yeah.
And then going from there, but I want to know your views on it.
The thing is, especially when I haven't looked into the company's like metrics. Obviously, Airbnb I think is also a disruptor. I want to make sure we have enough time because this is a really good question you've asked. Yeah. Like, I've used that product for years and it's been a lifesaver. Like, I love traveling. I've been to so many different places, and I would say if it wasn't for Airbnb, I would not have been able to do those things.
Oh, same, yeah.
But at the same time, in looking into the company a bit more, it gets into a lot of legal trouble with a lot of different places it goes to. It kind of raises the rent in specific residential areas. And so when they become a public company, I feel like those aspects will be criticized a lot more. And maybe the way that they operate will have to change because they'll be under heavy scrutiny. So, cause I feel like Airbnb, when it comes to the law in certain countries, they just kind of feel, because a lot of companies, especially Japan, I think, I'll fact check this afterwards, but I think they're not even allowed Airbnbs, but everyone still does it anyway.
I've heard something like that.
And they're not going to stop doing it. So once they become public, I don't know whether they can still operate in the same way. So I'm really going to heavily watch into that, but I'm a bit cautious. So I would, me personally, I'd have it on my watch list, but I want to see how they'll perform for like at least 2 quarters. Okay. So like half a year, and then make a decision then.
Yeah.
But yeah.